maybe that's it. Ah, there we go. Maybe that was it. All right, so now it probably looks like I'm live. So I'm not sure if I was live a minute ago or not, but it looks like I'm possibly live now. So if you can hear me and you can see me, give me a thumbs up in the chat room. Let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me. So I'm not quite sure if I was actually recording a few minutes ago, but yeah. So I think I'm live now. All right. So who's joining me here? Anybody out there watching? Hopefully somebody's out there watching. If I can't really tell here, so let me click on something else. So once again, I'm testing out OBS, trying to see exactly how this darn thing works because I can't quite figure it out. So it says that I've been streaming for, oh gosh, I don't know, a few minutes, but now it looks like I just started, so I can't really tell. And all right, so I'm in the dashboard. Okay. All right, if you're just now joining me, let me know in the live chat here. So I'm just kind of testing some things out here. Not quite sure how to use this OBS right now, but I'm trying to sort it out. Trying to sort this thing out. All right. Hitting some buttons here, kind of testing some stuff out here at the moment, so please be patient with me here. All right, so it looks like I got this stuff somewhat sorted out now. Trying to monitor the delay. Looks like there's a slight delay between two screens here. So once again, I'm just playing with OBS here for the opening part. Yeah, there's about a 30-second delay on this bad boy. Man, this is quite interesting now. All right, so we shall see what's going on here. So, But I do like the way that this OBS is set up here. So what this did was this. I actually downloaded OBS, installed it, set up a couple of scenes here. I'm not really going to bounce around on scenes. But I am going to play around with it one of these days. So one thing that I do like is that I can really set up a great looking screen here. Bring visibility to specific things that I want to bring visibility to. And this is kind of neat. But if you're just now joining me, please let me know in the chat that you're joining me, where you're coming from. And I look forward to talking with you. If you have any questions or anything like that, let me know. I'll get started here in a second. I'm just kind of playing around with some stuff at the moment. Hopefully everybody's having a great day. I know I am so far. Got an opportunity to watch some really good live streams earlier today. And connect with some more people. And it was pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Now, one thing I like about this whole live stream thing is that you can actually, can somewhat kind of serve as a like a social media kind of a thing. You know, so I started watching some stuff here recently with StreamYard, and that's one of the things that I want to kind of play around with here pretty soon is StreamYard. So I'm using OBS at the moment, but I see StreamYard has potential to bring other people on screen and camera and have a good conversation, this, that, and the other. So, you know, it really seems like StreamYard would be really cool to use as well too. So once again, if you're watching me, leave me a comment in the chat. Let me know, let me know what's going on. Leave me an emoji, symbol, a hey, what's up, something. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to leave me any questions. I don't mind answering any questions, although I do have some prepared content that I will get started here very shortly. So, hopefully everybody having a great day today. Just kind of relaxing a little bit. Not really doing anything too special. Just wanted to come on here real quick and test out a couple of things with this whole OBS. And so I did discover a couple of different things here. And I figured out how to actually name my stream and connect it. The only problem is that I actually have to go live with it. So hopefully whatever this was that I did a little bit ago didn't record and didn't go live. Hopefully it started live once I actually hit play here. So, awesome. Yeah. Just going to kind of wait for some people to show up here. And we'll talk. We'll have a conversation. We'll talk about some of my books here. Give you an opportunity to ask some questions. And we'll kind of go from there. So, hopefully everybody's doing well today. Which this is kind of interesting. This thing says that I have 3 people watching, but yet it's not 3 people watching. So I'm not quite sure where 3 people are watching from. Yeah, once again, I can't figure this whole live chat thing out. Now it says 2. That is interesting, but yet it's not showing up as a participant, which is really interesting. Yeah, I'm just kind of hanging out a little bit, trying to see exactly what this thing is doing. Yeah, thanks for bearing with me if you are watching. I know right now it says that I got 0, but once again, I can never tell if anybody actually is watching or not. So I've been live for, gosh, it didn't say how long I've been live. So if you're now joining me, once again, let me know. let me know who's in the chat, who's watching. That way I can kind of see what's going on here. Oh, I do got to refresh that. How about that? Once again, I'm just playing with, oh, that's interesting. I can even do that. So I'm just kind of playing around with OBS here. If you're joining me, that's what I'm doing. Let me know who's watching. Leave me a comment in the chat here. And if you're new to my channel, once again, my name is Terry Thompson. I am a motivational speaker. I know right now might not necessarily be motivating because I'm testing some stuff out, but motivational speaker. I'm an author. I've published 5 books. I own and operate multiple websites. I'm an entrepreneur of sorts. I generate thousands of dollars every single month in revenue. And right now on my channel, I'm kind of focused on motivation and inspiration, but I got some business things that I will be touching on here, some how-tos, some tutorials, some different things coming up here pretty soon. So once again, I look forward to motivating and inspiring you. I look forward to connecting with you. I look forward to teaching and training, coaching, mentoring. Once again, lots of different labels that I can put on things. And yeah, I look forward to connecting with each and every one of you. So if you have any questions, please, don't hesitate to drop any questions. I'm just kind of waiting on some more people to show up here before I really get started within my my actual content here. So I'm just kind of shooting the breeze here at the moment. So if you are joining me live here, once again, leave me a quick comment. Let me know that you're there. Let me know where you're coming from. And I look forward to talking with you. Yeah. So hopefully everybody's having a great day. It's Wednesday, middle of the week, otherwise commonly known as Hump Day. I have no idea why. I mean, I know why they call it Hump Day. I guess there's, it's the middle of the week. Once you get over that hump, once you get past that middle of the week, it's all kind of downhill from there. But I never really like to think of it as going downhill. Because for me, every day is Monday. Except for when it's actually Monday, and then it's a Smonday. But every day is Monday. I really like, it's really all a mindset is what it really is. With the right mindset, anything is possible. So I strongly believe that. There's been a lot of negative situations in which, which are out there every single day. And it's all a matter of the mindset. It's all a matter of how you approach it. And depending on what the problem is, because I don't like looking at problems as problems. All right, so I like to look at it as opportunities. Without opportunity, there's no growth. Okay, without opportunity, there's no growth. So a lot of people out there like to think of problems as problems. I don't like to look at problems as problems. I like to look at problems as opportunities. All right, so opportunities in which you can learn, opportunities in which you can grow, opportunities in which you can be of service and value to others. Okay? That's what I mean by it when I say opportunities, because so many people get focused on problems as being a problem. And I don't think problems are necessarily problems. I think they're opportunities. All right, so once again, if you're joining me here, let me know that you're there. And let me know if you can hear me. I know you can see me, but let me know if you can hear me okay. Hopefully you can hear me. And everything sounds fine. Hopefully it does. And if you got any questions, once again, let me know if you have any questions. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button, leave me a thumbs up, and let me know where you're from. Once again, my name is Terry Thompson. I'm a published author, motivational speaker, and you can connect with a lot of my content over at my website there on the screen, terrythompson.me. Okay, there you'll find my books. You'll find some motivational posts that I have on my website. You can also connect with my social media there as well too. I look forward to seeing you over there. I got some really good stuff I think you should check out, and I got a couple of free books there. So if you like ebooks and you like audio books, I have both, or I have two of them for free on the website there. So my ebook, How to Live Your Best Year Ever in 2019, is a free ebook on my website. All I ask you to do is just sign up. You'll have instant access to that book. I promise not to spam you. I don't spam people. Usually I'm just providing links back to my videos or providing some type of motivational or inspirational content in the form of a newsletter. And it's kind of my way to connect and give back to you. Just more free content. I'm not asking you to buy anything. I don't want you to go buy anything. All I ask you to do is subscribe to my channel, show support by engaging with me, and leaving questions in which I can answer, and I can provide more feedback and more videos for you, because that's what I want to do. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to provide content for you. And, because I can sit here all day long and talk about stuff from my books and all my quotes and all this and all that all day long, but I want to make sure that I do connect directly with you, and if there's something that you want to know about or something that you want to hear me talk about or hear my thoughts, once again, please let me know. All right, so moving right along, there to the right, you'll see my audiobook, Leadership Solved. My audiobook, Leadership Solved, is also available on my website there, terrythompson.me, and it's also available for free. Once again, I'll ask you to do is sign up for it. You'll have instant access to my audiobook, Leadership Solved, and it's only about 35 minutes, but in that video I talk about 10 techniques or 10 strategies that basically will make you a better leader and that will help you become a better leader. All right. I strongly believe that you're in either one of two modes. Somebody asked me a while back about my thoughts on leadership, so just to kind of touch on leadership a little bit here. So somebody asked me what's the most important thing about leadership, and of course the two most important aspects of leadership is influence and impact. Okay, if you don't have the influence on others, okay, you will not have an impact. All right, now influence comes from a lot of different things. It doesn't necessarily come from your position, doesn't necessarily come from your title. All right, influence comes from your actions. Okay, the things that you do, because people are always watching and people are always paying attention to the things that you do. I've had some leaders over the years that have said a lot of things, but they wasn't really filled with any type of real action, which, that really kind of cheats people at the end of the day. If you're just full of hot air and that's all that you are is full of hot air and you have no value that you're giving back, people are going to see right through that. And they're not necessarily going to follow you. So to kind of get back on track here, so there's two things that I consider when I think about leadership, and that's being the leader and being the led. Okay, now let me kind of peel that back just a little bit on what I mean by that. So you got the leader. Whenever you're the leader, I don't like to think of it as you're in charge or you're responsible. Okay, so when I think of leadership, I'm thinking of you're the example. A lot of people like to look at leadership and they like to say, oh, that guy's in charge, or that woman is responsible, or whatever the case may be. Okay, but I like to look at leadership, especially whenever you are the leader, in reference to like being the leader or being the led. Okay, you are the example. All right. Remember, people. A lot of times, people won't necessarily remember what it is that you say. Sometimes they won't even remember the things that you do. But I guarantee people will always remember the way that you made them feel. Okay? They will always remember the way that you made them feel. And that was a great quote that I learned a while back from the great Tony Robbins. Okay, Tony Robbins is one of my mentors, so I have a lot of great mentors, and I strongly believe that you should have a mentor. So I'm going to get on to the next one here in a second, which is the lead. But mentors, so I got a lot of great mentors. Somebody asked me, who's your mentor? Well, I have a lot of them. You may be one of my mentors. Who knows? I've never been afraid to learn something from anybody. And I think, I don't think, I know, and I strongly believe that everybody has something to offer in the form of leadership, or in the form of an example, or in the form of lessons that can be learned. Okay? Take, for example, children, for example. You can actually learn leadership by watching children. Okay, one of the greatest leadership lessons that I learned over the years was watching kids play at a playground. Okay, so when you go to the playground, have you ever noticed that, you got different groups of children that are playing at the playground? You got, the one that just can't get right, climbing up and down things and falling all over the place, picking their nose and just stumbling and bumbling all over everything. You got like 2 or 3 kids that are just kind of playing together, and then you got like the group of kids who seems to be following that one person that's just running all over everything and running around and saying, follow me, here's my example, what I'm saying, come with me, follow me. And I thought that was pretty awesome. Now the interesting thing about that was, from that particular lesson, is that one kid just happened to be my son. He was It didn't take long neither. So when we got to the playground, within 5 minutes, he had literally made friends and had people following him around the playground. That's leadership. Okay, and I think it's very interesting how even at such a small age, leadership is possible. Okay, now remember, if you're familiar with any of my content, you will also know that I strongly believe that everything in life is learned. Okay, everything in life is learned. We didn't just happen to pop into this earth and we know everything. That is not a true statement. Okay, we had to learn everything that we know in this life. We have learned. Okay, from the way that we walk, from the way that we talk, the way that we interact with other people. I mean, I could go all the way down the list on this one right here, but I guarantee you, everything in life is learned. You learned how to be the way that you are, okay, through leadership, through an example, okay, and you have chosen to emulate what you think is, or what you believe is right, and you've chosen not to do things because you believe that they are wrong. Everything in life is a choice, in other words. All right, so within my books, I wrote about that as well, too. I wrote about how things are a choice. You choose to be who you are. You choose to do the things that you do. You choose to do the things that you don't do. You choose to say the things that you say and don't say, so on and so forth. So between the things that you do and the things that you don't do, remember, everything in life is a choice. All right, so back in line here, so you got the leader, and then you got the led. All right, when you're not the leader, you are the led. So when you are the led, in other words, you are the follower, or what I like to call, you are the learner or the supporter. Okay, and I don't mind being either or. Okay, now I've been a leader for over 24 years, and I've led thousands of people to personal and professional success. All right. And I've never had an issue with being the leader, and I've never had an issue with being the led. Even with those that I lead, I will put them in charge and be like, I work for you. I am now the lead. You take charge. You tell me what to do. Okay, and I've given those people that opportunity to be in charge, to be in a leadership position. Because here's the thing, by the time you get to be a leader, you should already know what you're doing. There shouldn't be any questions about how to be a leader. You should already know what you're doing, and you should already be doing those things. Okay? Would you agree or disagree? All right, so let me know in the chat, once again, if you can hear me, and what's your thoughts on that? All right. Oh, how about that? It did show back up over there. I was wondering if that was going to show up or not. So, kind of surprised myself. So I got, you should see my setup here. I got like 4 screens open, and I'm looking at 4 completely different screens trying to see what's doing what here. So it's kind of interesting. But if you're just now joining my channel, once again, I'm kind of in relax mode today. So normally I'm energetic and all over the place, and and this, that, and the other. But I'm just kind of chilled out today, man. It's just been kind of one of those days, kind of one of those weeks to where I'm just kind of chilled out. But once again, if you're joining me, thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join me here today. I'm truly thankful and truly blessed for each and every one of you to be here. And I really enjoy talking about some of the things that I do talk about. All right, so one of the things I can talk about here is some quotes. So here's what I want to do. I want to share some quotes with you because I strongly believe in quotes. So do you believe in quotes? Do you like quotes? Do you strongly believe in quotes? I do. I think quotes are very valuable. So the thing is that I think that in and of itself, quotes is not really, they're not really the motivation. They're not even really the inspiration. Okay? And they're not even the action. Because in and of itself, a quote is just simply text. All right? It is simply text. That has the potential to motivate and inspire. Okay? So I strongly believe that quotes in and of itself is potential for action, potential for motivation, potential for inspiration. And there's a lot of great quotes that are out there, and I've learned from quite a few of them over the years. I've had some really great quotes that I have discovered, and I've kind of twisted into my own words, paraphrased, if you will. All right, so share a quick story here with you before I get into this quote. All right, so I remember one time I was at work, not quite there yet. I was in the general area, but we was having a gathering, and I was a little bit late for that gathering. Okay, and then basically the person that was in charge there, the leader at that particular moment, looked at me like I was crazy and said, "Hey, you need to get out of here. If you can't be on time, then you just need to leave. You need to go." All right? And I was like, I am on time. So I started to kind of argue with the person just a little bit. And then he goes, "Well, whose time are you on? You on my time or you on your time?" And I was like, "Well, what time do you got?" Because this guy didn't wear a watch. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, I was poking the buttons a little bit. And I kind of upset the guy just a little bit. So he started raising his voice and said, "Get on out of here." He goes, "You need to go. You need to get out of here." So, of course, one of the other leaders there within the group grabbed. Now, this was years ago. This was like, oh, my goodness, this was like 20 years ago. This was like in the early stages of my junior leadership. And so somebody else kind of scooped me up a little bit, took me somewhere else, and we had a conversation about it. And I was like, well, I have no idea what time this guy's on, He doesn't wear a watch. He never really tells anybody when he's doing anything. He just said, "Come on over," so that when I finished up with what I was doing, I went on over. And come to find out, there was I did find out what clock he was going by, though. So what quote did that lead me to? Here's what quote that led me to. If you can't be on time, be early. That's the quote. If you can't be on time, be early. But how early is too early? All right. That's a matter of perspective. Because I've showed up as early as 2 hours for something. I've showed up as early as 2 or 3 hours for something. I remember an interview that I had one time, and I showed up, I think, 3 hours before the interview. I showed up 3 hours before that interview. Needless to say, I was early. But here's the cool thing that being early allowed me to do. Being early allowed me to prepare a little bit better for that interview, because I got 3 hours in which I was able to sit there, go over some of the material that I wanted to, say and speak during the interview. I got to ingrain that content or that information in a little bit more. And then about an hour before my interview, I actually went inside. So for about 2 hours, I sat in my truck and I just kind of went over all the content, went over everything that I needed to prepare for the interview, made sure I had everything with me. And then about an hour before my interview, I went in and I made myself visible. Introduced myself to a few people and started having conversation. All right. So one of the main people that was interviewing me, I actually went up and said, "Hey, I'm here." He goes, "Oh, you're early." I was like, "Yeah, I'm early." I was always taught that if you can't be on time, be early. He kind of laughed and giggled just a little bit, and and said, "Hey, well, we're not ready for you yet, but go ahead and have a seat right there, and when we're ready for you, we will call you. We're going to be in the conference room over here off to the side." So he kind of showed me where it was. So as I was sitting there, so I had about an hour to wait. As I was sitting there, I got to see people come and go and passing and this, that, and the other. And every person that came in, I stood up and I showed my courtesy to them and said, "Hey, how you doing?" I had a couple people strike up some conversation with me and this, that, and the other. And it was strange enough. I had people that basically just kind of said, "Oh, you're here for the interview." So they already kind of knew who I was and what was going on and this, that, and the other. And so I struck up conversation and I started talking to a couple of people. All right. Well, little time went on and the interview started. So I went into the interview, and as the interview was happening, I can't say that I completely aced the interview. You know what I'm saying? There was some things that I definitely missed within the interview that I hadn't fully prepared for, but for the most part, the things that I did prepare for, I answered those things very well. Okay? And I was truly thankful for that extra time that I spent, because some of those questions or some of the content that I had taken a look at, there was questions that was asked on that content. So it helped me out. And then come to find out, one of the other people that I had just talked to in passing was also one of the interviewers, one of the people that was interviewing me. So I was like, "Oh, wow, I'm glad I didn't mess that up out in the hallway there." So I had that person actually asking me questions to interview me, which I thought was really awesome, because I know that I didn't, I knew that I had set a good example in kind of a random meeting, so to speak. Needless to say, at that time, I did get the job ultimately and everything. And once I got the job and got settled in and everything and started going to work, I discovered that there was about 2 or 3 other people that I had also had conversations with out in that hallway that I work with. So that was pretty cool that I had kind of set an example before I even started there. And then when I did start working, that one moment, kind of set the pace. And I kind of felt like I knew the person, and they kind of felt that they knew me a little bit once we got started or once we got going. So for me, that was kind of cool. That was kind of how being early really kind of meant being on time, and how that allowed me an opportunity to better prepare, interact, and engage with people. And later on down the line, I've been at this place for about 8 months now. And once again, I'm still good friends even with the people that I work with. And the people that I also met that I don't necessarily work with, but I did get an opportunity to meet. So I thought that was kind of an interesting story of, if you can't be on time, be early. All right. So here's another quote right here. And this one is, a less than perfect plan taken action on is better than a perfect plan that you struggle with and never take action on. Okay, so let's kind of peel this one back just a little bit. All right. Well, first of all, let me ask you this. Do you struggle with perfectionism? Do you think that you have to have everything perfect before you can do anything, before you take any type of action? Okay, it may be, if you're that way, that you struggle with perfectionism. Okay, and I know that there's a lot of people that do tend to struggle with perfectionism. Okay, I used to be that type of a person as well too, where I struggled with perfectionism. You know, and the biggest thing that I had to get over with was myself, because I realized as I got more educated, more smart, more experienced, more knowledgeable, that I was my own worst enemy, so to speak. I was the one that was kind of in my way. Okay, I was the one that was slowing myself down. I was the one that was holding myself back. And once I allowed myself to let go, it became a lot easier to to take action on those things. Now, the biggest thing with, taking action on a plan, okay, is to not necessarily wait for it to be perfect or until you think you have it all together or whatever the case may be. Sometimes the best plans are those ones that you just take off running at full speed with and you just kind of figure it out along the way. I've done that several times. I've launched products and services within some of my businesses that I had absolutely no idea how it was going to work out. But until I took that action and actually started doing it, then I started adjusting, as I started figuring things out. And for me, that was kind of interesting. Okay. And as I got going, I realized, hey, there are some things that are working. There's some things that are not necessarily working. There's some things that I needed to shift a little bit. There's some things that I needed to take different action on. And there are things that I needed to change. Once again, it's a matter of taking that action and learning, because, even the best laid plans don't always work as planned. All right. So have you ever noticed that? Have you ever done anything like that? Have you ever taken action on something and you realize that later on down the line, gosh, this wasn't really a good plan. This wasn't really a good idea. I know myself, I've had that happen to me several times. I've had several things that, I took off on, and I'm like, man, this is a great idea. This is going to be awesome. And as I get into it, I was like, this is not awesome. So, once again, a less than perfect plan taken action on is better than a perfect plan you struggle with and never take action on. But as you do conduct your plan, or you do take action on that, if you do realize that it's not working, don't continue doing something until you think it's going to fit. All right, that's kind of the definition of insanity, so to speak. The definition of insanity is repeating the same action, hoping for a different result. If it's not working, it's not working. Okay. So, yeah, if it's not working, man, it's not working. All right. So moving right along, my next quote here is, how you do anything is how you do everything. All right, so keep that in mind. How you do anything is how you do everything. All right, so here's what I mean by that. What I'm referencing here is I'm referencing standards. Whatever your standard is, you will take that action each and every time that you do something. Okay? So each and every time that you do something, you are performing that action based on the standards that you have set for yourself. Okay, and if you are in a leadership position, you will also discover that um, your people will also take action based off of the standards that have been set before them. And then people will always try to push the envelope on, can I get away with this? Can I do that? Can I do this? Can I bend and reshape and mold the standard just a little bit? No, if a standard is a standard, then you uphold the standard. You hold others accountable to that standard, but more importantly, you hold yourself to that standard. Because if you're not holding yourself to a standard, you cannot hold anybody else to a standard. All right, you just can't do it. All right, and if you think that you are going to try to punish anybody, get anybody, counsel anybody, pull them in and have a conversation about things that, they're doing that you are also doing, you will not win that argument, my friend. You will not win that argument. So keep in mind that you need to make sure that you are following the same standard that you have set for others to follow. All right? But how you do anything is how you do everything. Like I said, it comes down to your standards. If you have a very high standard of doing something, you will do it that way each and every time. And the moment that you don't, someone is going to question that. They're going to be like, well, gosh, you always do it this way, but you didn't do it that way this time. Okay, well, I have something for that as well, too. I'm a better person for it now. I'm a smarter person. I'm a more experienced person. So even though I was doing something this way the whole time, I discovered that it was wrong, and now here's the new right way to do it. Or the perceived right way of doing it. Okay, because remember, right or wrong is a matter of perception. All right, right or wrong is a matter of perception. How you perceive something may be different based off of many different things. And just because you perceive something one way one day doesn't necessarily mean you're going to perceive it that way each and every day. Because I've had a mindset on certain things, and I have also changed that mindset once I've got more knowledgeable, once I got more experienced. Okay? And, I've discovered that I needed to shift on some things. Which is not necessarily a bad thing. Not necessarily a bad thing. All right. So moving right along, this is not really a quote, but it's just kind of a statement. All right. So who here likes to set goals? If you like to set goals, you're just like me as well, too. However, if you want a different mindset or shift on that right there, I don't necessarily want to achieve my goals. I really don't. I would rather have better habits so that I don't have to have goals. Okay? So which would you rather have? Would you rather have goals, or would you rather have better habits? I would rather have better habits. Okay? I would rather have better habits. Okay? Because goal, even though that is something that you can strive for, you can try to achieve it, and you can try to reach that, it means that you're not there yet. You're trying to get there. But if you have a habit, that means you've already established it. And it's a daily part of your life. So once again, goals are fine, but habits are better. As you start to do things, you will discover that it's a lot easier to continue to do those things. Once something becomes a habit, it's a lot easier to do. It's a lot easier to take action on a habit than it is to try to achieve a goal, which is not yet a habit, but you should strive to make those goals a habit. Okay? All right, moving right along. Nobody can take away the investment that you have made in yourself. I strongly believe in self-investment. All right, I invest all the time within my own personal and professional education, my own knowledge. I read a lot of books. I take online courses. I am forever a student. Okay. Now I actually have a business degree. I actually have a bachelor's degree in business, um, and I'm still taking classes. I'm still taking some. Now I'm focusing more on certification stuff than I am actual degrees, but I'm still educating myself. So the face of education is changing. It really is. Education is really shifting, and it's going to be exciting to see how that plays out over the next 5 to 10 years. Because I'm going to tell you right now, colleges and universities, if they don't change, if they don't shift, they are going to be irrelevant. They are going to be completely irrelevant if they don't change and if they don't shift. And you can mark my words that I said that. They need to change, they need to shift, or they are not going to be a part of anybody's future. Now the thing is that the market is going to demand what needs to happen in the schoolhouse. However, the market is ahead of what is being done in the schoolhouse, because if something's happening out into the market, the schoolhouse has to create a course and get someone to teach it, get it certified, and do all these other different things. By then, the market has already shifted. It's already changed. Schools are basically teaching history. That's exactly what they're doing. Schools, colleges, universities, whatever label you want to put on it, are very good at teaching things that have happened in the past. Because they can't teach it if it hasn't happened. Schools don't teach really theory. They teach fact. Things that have happened. That's past tense. If schools don't catch up, once again, they are going to find themselves completely irrelevant. All right? Which is why I started investing in my own education. All right? Taking online classes, being in charge of the knowledge and the skills that I actually want, versus what somebody else is going to teach me. All right, so that's about all that I got time for today. I need to kind of cut this off here. Once again, if you got value from my stream today, please leave me a comment, leave me a thumbs up, let me know what you thought. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. I will talk soon.